Well, hey there, everybody. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me again today. Hope you're all having a lovely, lovely weekend wherever you are in the world. Nice and quiet and peaceful here. I'm going to have a very, very quiet weekend, and I'll tell you why in just a little bit. But yeah, just been enjoying the Saturday morning so far. Waiting for this cold front to come through and give us some nice, cooler fall weather. Anyhow, today I want to talk about dealing with fear and anxiety and talk to you about a little wake up call I got. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you are not already part of the family, please go down there and hit that subscribe button now, and then immediately click on the little bell and check send notifications, or you may not stay subscribed to the channel. As you can probably tell, and I've mentioned a number of times, I haven't quite been myself for the last month or 6 weeks or so, dealing with this little kind of issue in my torso that I've had. Well, kind of got to a point where I was feeling real tight, and I actually went to a little one of these urgent care clinics yesterday. Good experience, and the guy actually kind of told me a lot of things I was thinking, and he actually confirmed a lot of what the chiropractor had told me. Now, the whole point of this one isn't about the actual physical. I'm just giving you a little background there. I'm flat-footed. And basically, all my problems have developed through my life, up through the feet, the gait of my walk. Now, I'm not flat. I've seen people with a lot flatter feet than mine, but I do have flat feet. But anyhow, it appears that it's just like a lot of inflammation. You know, the muscles just in my area reacting to some of the issues that I do have, and he confirmed that too, you know, with a little bit of the spinal issues here and there. He said, yeah. So basically what it's going to boil down to is I'm going to get a really good insert for my shoes and be much more conscious of that when I'm walking, because that walking, I think, just destroyed me this summer, because I wear these sometimes I walk, you see that? I've even walked a hole in that. These are just little crappy flip-flops, and yeah, all starts from the ground up. Anyhow, that's not the purpose of it, and I don't need any medical advice for any future doctors out there. But ever since I'm not used to this kind of stuff. I've been blessed with good health my whole life. I've been rather fortunate, you know. In some ways, sometimes I think my karma should dictate that I have some health crises, just simply because I haven't really, I didn't take my care of myself up until about 6 or 7 years ago, and I've had remarkable health looking back my whole life. I've never been in the hospital before. I broke one finger one time. I've had stitches one time. I told them yesterday when I checked in at this clinic, I said, you know what, unless I'm missing one where I think I've seen the doctor 3 times in the last 25 years, and one of those was did a couple of stitches, and always very, very minor things. But what it's been is the unknown. And that's what I want to talk about today is fear and anxiety. How we can let them, you know, and this all goes back to, I've been trying to fall back on, rely on my mindfulness practice as much as possible. And I always kind of had an idea that day would come where I would need to use that mindfulness that I've been practicing to deal with something physical. And to put it simply, living with having fear and anxiety is not mindfulness, because fear happens in the future. Fear is, well, unless we're in a situation, and then fear can be helpful. It can sometimes save your life unless you're in an immediate situation where, you know, there's something that's life-threatening. Fear is something in the future. Fear is something that hasn't happened. In other words, we're worrying about something, projecting to somewhere that hasn't happened, instead of, you know, just staying in the present and doing everything we can in the present to assure the best outcome, best future possible. I've been thinking about this a lot the last couple of days, and you know, even though it's been uncomfortable, it's not the most pleasant at times, this has been a real wake-up call for me. Now, let me tell you why. I mean, the fear and anxiety was not just purely physical. I mean, I didn't think like, oh, I'm going to die. I didn't think like, oh, I'm going to have this or that. It just kind of seemed like kind of complicated, and I was like, okay, am I going to go see a doctor, and I'm going to go into this system of, you know, test and this and that, and this is going to be something that was hard to figure out. because most of the fear and anxiety came back to money. I don't have health insurance. And it's kind of ironic, you know, that I had it all these years. I had it up until less than a year ago, and I won't get into the particulars of that. That's not what it's about. But I don't have health insurance. So I started thinking, oh my God, if I just have to do, you know, like all that stuff is super, super expensive when you're paying out of pocket. So I started thinking like, okay, well, I got the means, you know, to go see a doctor. I've even got the means to do a few things, but if it gets into something like, what if they had found something in there? Oh, even if you need a minor surgery, you know, if you go stay in the hospital and get a procedure, that's probably jumps up into 5 figures, easily jumps to 5 figures right there. So a lot of the wake up call has been over that, and just has been over, you know, like the situation that I've kind of found myself in. Listen, I've never pulled any punches about myself or tried to give you any illusions of who I am. I've been a screw up my whole life pretty much. Now I started screwing up a lot less about 7 years ago, but I still have not been as responsible in practical matters as I should be. You know, the last 2 years have been just kind of a blur. I got on the mountain and I was doing a house sitting job, and I'm like, all right, well, I got a nice free place to live, no expenses here. Then I came back to the States. Then my mom goes in the nursing home, and that's kind of, you know, changed my reality this year, changed where I was going to be living and what have you. And, you know, I've just been these opportunities and businesses that I have online. It was always kind of like, well, I can slow roll them because I have the time. You know, I've got the time, I'll do it. I've got reserves to live on in the meantime. And one thing goes, one thing leads to another, and time drifts by. This was a wake-up call. It's, excuse my language, but it's balls to the wall from now on. I got to start looking to the future a little bit more. I joke with people all the time, that know me. I say, yeah, it's like when you're talking to me, you may see all this gray, but you're like talking to a 22-year-old kid, responsibility wise, and like in that sort of thinking. So it has been a wake up call. It's time to get the business rocking and rolling. It's time to start, you know, preparing for later years in life, because like I say, this changed a lot of things. This changed a lot of things with my mom going in the nursing home. Nursing home facilities are quite expensive. But there's really, you know, in this area, people always, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? There's really not another option around here. She needs that care. But yeah, anyhow, one thing I'm going to take out of this is just like, don't go borrowing trouble. You ever heard that saying? Don't go borrowing trouble. So I'll take the lesson learned and I'm about to put it into another gear. I'm about to start manifesting that life that I want, instead of just kind of like talking about it, wishing about it, hoping for it, seeing it as something in the future. You know, and it's, what are we now? We're in the middle of, we're getting close to the end of October, and it'll be time pretty soon. The holidays, you know, like Christmas will roll around, and we'll be getting towards the end of the year, and everybody will be saying, oh my God, 2000, because they do it every year. I see it on social media. 2018 sucked. 2018 was horrible. I can't wait for 2019. 2018 has been somewhat of a challenging year for me. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, like I say, my mother going in a care facility, and just a big life change, you know, of me going from being here just part-time to now I'm going to be here full-time for a while. And then I had this issue, and I started, you know, then it just started the ball rolling in my head, thinking about all this stuff. So in the end, it's going to be a good thing, because it's going to be that spark that I kind of need to be like, okay, Jack, get off your ass and do what you need to do. And yeah, that's the best way to finish it, and manifest that life that you want, instead of hoping, wishing, thinking in the future for it. So anyhow, hope I didn't ramble too much today. I probably should have mentioned at the first of the thing to deal with some of these things, and I was okay with that. He gave me a muscle relaxer. He gave me a prescription for muscle relaxers, and they don't make me high or like that, but it's hard to explain. I'm very relaxed. I'm very kind of just a little bit loopy, and I was having trouble throughout here. I kind of had to stop the camera. You'll be able to tell with the edits a few times, just to because I kind of lost track of what I was just about to say. So I'm kind of a little spacey, but anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. and I'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.